Hello, welcome to another episode of The Art of Making Comics. This is Michael Nunneley. Thank you for coming by and checking this out. I really appreciate it. I hope that it is helpful for you. I know that I personally wish I had known the stuff that I'm sharing in these videos when I started. It would have made this journey for me a little bit easier. So I'm just hoping to pass that on to you guys. In this particular episode, we're going to talk about panels and paneling. Let's see. How do I say this? There's a couple rules of thumb. Number one, you're looking at one action per panel, not multiple actions. If you're going to do multiple actions, even in a sequence, it's better to do, like, say, one bigger panel, and then, say, for the action sequence, let's say we do several smaller panels within it. Or, you can always do the ethereal versions of the action to show how he went through the motions. But as a general rule, you want one action per panel, and this is because it does the greatest impact. And let me break this down for you. We're talking about, let's say, okay, we got a guy, he's jumping across at the hero, and the hero is ducking under him. And as the guy is going over him, the hero is taking his sword and he's shoving it up into the bad guy. And the bad guy's rolling onto the ground with the sword in his gullet. Now, while you could do that in one panel, it would take up an entire page to get it all done, and it would have a lot less impact than if you did it with individual panels. Like, for instance, you want one of the hero, like one of the villain, like ready to leap. And then you want one of the villain up in the air coming down at the guy, and then the hero ducking under with the with the sword ready to go up. And then another little one with the sword actually plunging up through the gut there, and you know what I mean? How each action is broken up because you're dealing with still panels. While we do have a visual representation, it's not as fluid as like video, right? It's sequential art. It's still. So that means if you want to get a fluid action movement where each movement within it is very important, then you're going to want to break that up into littler panels. Otherwise, you're losing a lot of impact in your storytelling. Another thing is panel arrangement. Depending on what you're putting in the panel, you need to make sure that a number of panels you're putting on the page isn't too many, so that the stuff that you're wanting in the individual panels can't get all told because there's not enough room. I made this mistake even recently, where I thought I had broken it up good enough, but the truth was there was not enough room on the page to show everything that I had in mind in the panel. There just wasn't enough room to do it and do it well, and I actually needed about one less panel on the page, and that's really important. You gotta one good thing for writers specifically to do is storyboard. I know, okay, if you can't draw or for crap, you have struggle with stick figures, it doesn't matter, you can still storyboard. But basically, what you want is draw stick figures doing what it is that you want in the panel to happen. And if you can't figure out how to draw what you're talking about with stick figures, then you're not describing it right, or you need to rework the scene so that it can be done. And when we're talking about paneling, number of panels, we're talking about needing to make sure that the action, once you've storyboarded it out, right? You got like the hero pulling back for the punch, and then you got the next panel, you got the gritting of the villain, right? And then the next panel, you got the swinging of the punch, right? And then the connection, bam, with the villain, with the smash of the face and his whole right. You want each moment of it has to be captured, because again, we're dealing with sequential art. We're talking about still pictures that we need to work this with. Another crucial thing, and this is not something I would have thought of normally when you're dealing with paneling, is that you need to try to arrange each page in a sort of almost like a cliffhanger fashion. Now, this isn't a standard rule that you have to do it every time, but in general, you want to sell each page by making the reader want to turn to the next one to see what happens. You can do that in simple ways by asking a question at the end of one page, and then you turn the page and you get the answer to the question there, right? Just something that makes them have to turn the page to find out what happened. Those always got to try to be at the end of a page, if at all possible. Be it in your visual storytelling or in the words that you're writing. So lastly, you just want to make sure that you're being as detailed as possible. You are responsible for what goes into that panel. If you're seeing something in your mind, then you need to write it in there, and it needs to be said in a clear and descriptive fashion. So I hope that was helpful as far as paneling goes. We'll get into some more stuff next week. Next Friday, go ahead and tune on in back here, and we'll get something going there. Thanks for watching. Again, I hope this was helpful. My name is Michael Nunneley. Live long and prosper, guys.